this is a little bit of a tease. Radley was saying in the chat that we should not cast these games because one of these games was the worst game he has ever played in his life. I don't know which game. It could have been that game. I don't think he played particularly badly that game, but maybe he thinks he really just played horribly.
You weren't awful. You just nothing you did quite worked. That sounded like I was being sarcastic. I wasn't actually being sarcastic there. I mean, because sometimes you just get games like that, don't you, where you feel like it wasn't dreadful, just nothing you did quite happened, and as such you ended up being crushed like a cockroach. But really, it wasn't that bad of a game. We'll see. I'm sure it'll jump out at us when it happens.
Alright. Moving on to game 2. Outsider.
You know what I just realised? That is now, like, remember who was it who said there's going to be a surprise in the games? It is like that. I'm going to be waiting to see like the worst mistake in history right now, and it's just going to be like, oh, he cancelled a Mutalist. Whatever.
Dude, I don't know how you can forget about that, man. That was Plumum, and he had a surprise for me because he said hi to me. That's why Plumum's my favorite player. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. Oh god, I remember that. So I'm going to be looking out for the worst mistake ever, and I'm going to be so fixated upon it. You guys can take this cast. I'm just going to be looking out for the terrible mistake, and then I'm going to be like, ha! He cancelled the tank. He cancelled the tank, and I'm going to be so happy. That's what's going to go down.
All right. So, once again on Outsider. Now, Outsider for ZVT. You don't see too many ZVT games on this map. Unfortunately, Ihufa kind of killed Terranos pretty quickly when they played. But normally this should be a really good map for Radley. For Radley to go bio. If he wants to, he can just take 4 bases, only have to defend 1 choke against Mass Lurker, and 2 of them are mineral only, so he probably can't go mech with it, unless he wants to go very vulture heavy kind of mech. But
yeah,
it should be pretty strong for bio.
it should be. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with anything you're saying. Yeah? I think that's valid. Give me 1 second. I'm not like unzipping anything weirdly. I'm taking my hoodie off so nobody reads too far into it. That sounded strange. It's like this weird unzipping noise. Mysterious. I'm getting hot. There's nothing to it, guys. So yeah, I think that's valid. I think that might be what we're going to see. I think Radley, I don't know if he'll be wanting to try something different though, as apart from last game, because he got quite badly stuffed up last game. So I'm not sure if I just want to completely mix up the formula or not. But I guess we're going to see.
Alright.
I know I would want to.
In this game, Ihufa is going to be going for the 9 pool. And Radley scouts it out. It looks like instead of just putting SCVs at the front, he's going to go for not a tight wall, but some kind of wall. That bunker's barely going to finish, but it's going to finish, and there's only going to be 1 Marine in it. He's still forced to pull SCVs. Ihufa could get a really nice run by here.
Yeah, he really could, because that's not even a wall in down there. Not even there's only there's an SCV in the bunker. This has all gone to chaos. We're seeing another SCV on ramp catastrophe right now. He loses so many SCVs, put it in the bunker, he doesn't put it in the bunker. And now, really, you can just run away with those lings and call it the end of a good day. But he's not going to. He's going to go in and try and get some scouting information. But oh, damn, that was bad times. I mean, not only was it an incomplete SCV block on the ramp, but it was a very, very bad wall in. Doty, I would actually love your thoughts on this one. I would like
shit. Elegant with the low blows.
No, I love Doty's. I just want to make that very clear to everybody. I love Doty's.
I'll just leave now. You heard me.
Don't leave. Please don't leave. I'm secretly your number. Well, it's no secret. I am basically your #1 fan. But just, I love your warnings. They fascinate me in so many.
Oh man. You know what?
They kept me so insane.
Since those 2 rounds in ISL 3, Doty actually has improved his wall making. He really doesn't deserve that stigma, but it's never going away.
No, unfortunately not.
I feel so trolled right now.
Yeah. So I had screen as soon as I saw that wall in there, it just reminded me immediately. It was always going to come up.
If it
For
makes
what
you,
it's worth, I'm sorry.
if it makes you feel any better, Doty, you could beat us 2v1 right now, and just use
Yeah.
carriers, and like just completely raffle stomp us. So
yeah,
just pay no attention to the scrubs making fun of your walls.
Doty's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, I only make fun of you, Doty, because I feel so insecure about your supreme skill. That's the only reason I do. You know that, don't you? Because I watch your stream like, how can I stream like this guy? And so then I have to come and take the piss, because that's just the way I operate.
Alright.
So, Radley getting exactly 200 gas, then pulling guys off of the refinery. He's getting an academy and engineering bay. So, 100 gas for stim, 100 gas for +1. He won't have any gas for medics.
He does need medics.
Okay, he's putting more guys back on gas. Apparently 200 wasn't like the specific, you gotta have 200 for this build. Not getting more. It won't delay his +1 or anything.
I love that when you say that, suddenly you're like, okay, he's got the gas for this, but he's not going to have the gas for medics. And then suddenly this moment of silence while everyone tries to cook up an excuse. And then the sudden relief when he actually puts guys back on gas and we don't have to explain away this crazy behaviour that he's exhibiting. We have a decent number of links coming in, looking like they're going to do a little bit of harm, and they might actually be able to. Is there link speed, or is it on the way? Is it going to be done? It's not going to be done. It doesn't look like he really cares, but he might be able to get a
Great
decent surround on
position.
these Marines.
Oh, getting a complete surround of the Marines, but the Marines actually still managed to get back to a certain respect. Oh, it's not going to help out that much, actually.
Oh.
Oh, man. Radley. Was that the mistake? Like, having the Marines in the worst possible location? They were defending absolutely nothing, weren't up the ramp? Oh. No, not too much economic damage with none. There were some SCVs lost, and that's still a pretty big thing. But I think the most important thing about that attack was the fact that the Marine count is reset to 0. Radley can generate no offense of its own at this point. And it's just,
Yeah.
he's constantly just going to have to play defensively. There is he has nothing else to do but to play defensively, as the Mutalisks are almost out.
Yeah, and that means that the third base is just going to be so easy for Ihufa, whereas usually the third base, is the real tricky part of playing ZVT. In this case, it's just going to be able to easily get one up and defend it. And going in there, sniping out the missile, so it's a very, very sensible decision. Of course, means that the Mutalisks are going to be all that much more effective, and it's just a little bit of unnecessary extra cost for Radley. But yeah, that big stumbling block in the game whereby the Zoe just has to defend like crazy to try and keep his third base up is pretty much eliminated already due to that big mistake. So Ihufa should be feeling pretty confident. Depending on how much damage these Mutalisks do, which should be a fair amount having taken out so many Marines, he could actually make this pretty short work.
Yeah, Mutalisks going in. Going to take out the only missile? No, they're not going to be able to take out the other missile turret. A lot of SCVs repairing that might not have been worth it in the end. Range is not done. Range still needs a little bit more. So these Marines are going to have a hard time actually getting into good position to attack the Mutalisks, especially with so few of them, but... Nah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad for Radley.
This is rough times, and there's a big gap in his missile turret defense right there as well, and I think Ihufa is about to try and exploit that. There's a couple of Marines there to try and do some defense. One, Stim Marine, with no it's not going to be nearly enough. All the SCVs pausing for thought before heading back to Minerals. They were like, shall we run away? No, we're staying firm, but I think that won't last very long. That massive gap is showing no signs of being plugged, so those Mutants you can just keep on bashing in and exploiting that. He might be able to get in and snipe out that missile turret with his links. No, the Marines coming back out are going to be able to deal with that, but the Mutants are reinforcing right now, and that's a scary, scary number of Mutants to be flying around the Terran main.
So, Radley's actually in a pretty good position here to try to do as much damage as possible to the Mutalisks, but it doesn't matter.
GG's instead.
GG. Yeah, I mean, as much damage as you can is kind of relative. So, Mutalisks pick them all off.
Oh, we're off the server.
Indeed. We did
I
hit.
even got a disc.